and very good atmosphere and cool, good selection of gear, and yeah, we are very proud to be here. So this is Mike, my colleague.
Hello.
And he's working for Sandberg for approx 10 years. He started with assembling, and then he is also doing service stuff and emails, answering and so on. And now he's in charge of, he's a sales guy, you know. He makes the money for me. So you are all bass players?
Yeah, pretty much.
Or is it the flute orchestra from San Diego? Bass players, good. Good to hear. Good to know. So my name is Holger, and I'm the founder of Sandberg. And Sandberg exists this year 33 years. 33 years. Quite a long time. Time is running very fast. So I'm 35 years old, as you can see. You know, I have my winter peruk now. Winter peruk. Yeah, and so we started in 1986. Two crazy guys, me and a friend of mine, and we only wanted to make some experiments with our own guitars. You know, we renovated an old pig stall, and this pig stall was located very close to Wolfsburg, which is the Volkswagen, the huge Volkswagen factory where 50,000 employees working for building cars. You know, and it is a very rich area. You can imagine. Everybody's working in Volkswagen, has a good salary. Yeah? So we had a small pig store close to the car factory and started with experiments and so on. And the reason why I started with experiments was my first bass was a bad instrument and the head was always falling down. So this hand was not only playing, it was holding. And this was, you know. So I decided to put on a bottle of beer on the body to balance it a little bit better. But after the rehearsal, the bottle was empty and the head was falling down. And I said, I must do something with my bass. So my friend, his name is Gerd, we came together. And he was in charge of all the electronic stuff. He developed electronics, filters, and winding pickups. And I did all the woodwork. And yeah, in the beginning we only made repairs, and it was a good time because we made a lot of we had a lot of experience. Millions of things can happen with a guitar, and we did repair in all the details and learned a lot what we could do better, you know, for example. And so after 2 years, we designed our first 2 bass and guitar models. And then this was the start. We grew slowly, and then we moved to another town. It's called Braunschweig. Nobody in the world knows Braunschweig, but the city is called Braunschweig. You know, it's not far.
Jägermeister from Braunschweig, right?
Jägermeister is 10 kilometers far from Braunschweig, and actually, we built a bass for Jägermeister. Jägermeister don't know yet, but they will be surprised in 2 weeks. And because we have a fantastic airbrush guy, he did the Jägermeister logo with a bottle and the orange logo, everything on the bass. And yeah, when we are back from them, then I will go to Jägermeister and give him Jägermeister bass as a present. You know?
You can check out at Facebook now.
Yeah. Yeah. So by now we have 25 people, employees working for Sandberg, and we build around 100, 120 basses per month. You know? And I think I will tell you 3 or 4 sentences about the company. So the philosophy about from Sandberg is to build instruments, bass guitars and guitars to a favorable price with good and excellent components, all wood parts and all the pickups and hardware parts. And within the last 20 years, we developed, I can say, 99% is designed by us. So it starts with a bridge. We have our own bridge design, and the bridge is massive and good material, it's brass, and so it offers a good sustain, you know. And in the end, you have slots. very easy to change the strings because you don't need to pull a string through a little hole in the dark rehearsal room or just on stage, you know, like this. No. You easily can put the string in and it's fixed. Then we have our own knobs. Our knob design is a little bit smaller than the regular dome speed, a little bit smaller, and you can feel the center point. You don't need to look, where's center, where's plus and minus, and you can feel it. Then we go up, we have our own machine heads for, this is called the D-cast model. For this, we have two different headstock shapes. This is the traditional, the old Sandberg headstock shape. And for the California line, which is this one, this model, we have this headstock shape with this sharp edge here. So, and then we designed a new string retainer. It's also very easy to change strings because there's no hole. We have to put a string underneath and stretch the complete headstock, like, you know. It's very easy, and for my taste, it looks very nice. Is it nice?
Yes, it's nice.
It's a nice shape. Thank you very much, Mike. Thank you very much. So, and since 2.5 years, we have our own machine heads. Because my idea was to reduce everything which is not necessary on a machine head, to make it lighter. And finally, it looks like this, very, very small from the back. The traditional, do you say wing? Is it a wing?
Clover.
Clover, yeah. And the material is called aluminum, but it's a very special aluminum. It's called airplane aluminum. It can't fly, but it's very hard. It must be very hard. It's necessary. Otherwise, you could bend it, you know. And each machine head, the weight is 42.5 gram, which is like a little bird, hummingbird maybe. A pregnant hummingbird.
So on a 5-string headstock, you save about 200 grams of weight, which helps.
So since we have the new machine heads, the basses feel much better. Let me say perfect balanced, you know. Yeah. And for some of our models, we have our own pickups, and for some other, we use, for example, Delano pickups, or there's a very, very small pickup companies called Heusel pickup, or sometimes Nordstrand and Kloppmann, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and so another part of our philosophy is to offer the customer lots of possibilities, so that everybody can create his own instrument. And therefore, we developed a configurator. You find it on our website, a configurator. This configurator allows to select from, it's approximately 1 million. Huh?
Yes.
1 million. I can't believe, but he says he's counted. So he said, I trust him, 1 million possibilities. So it starts, we have 7 different models. This is a California V-shape, we call it V-shape. Don't ask why it's V, but it's called V-shape. Huh? And we have a California T-shape, don't ask why T, but it's T-shape with V-shape. And we have this nice instrument, it's a basic, and all in all, 7 different models. And we have 4 different finishes on our configurator. Start with a matte finish, like this. This is black burst matte. It's an open pore finish. And I like it very much because you can feel the grain, the structure of the wood. And there's a very, very thin layer. It's exactly, there are 3 layers of lac. So 2 times it's a base ground, then it's sanded, and then the final layer is a matte, a satin matte finish. And it's resistant, do you say resistant? Against alcohol or whatever, you know? Yes. So you can put everything on the lac, nothing will happen. Nearly everything. So we have 12 or 13 different matte finish colors. Next one is high gloss. Everybody knows high gloss, of course. So 10 or 12 different high gloss colors. The next one is rare wood. We offer 12 or 15 different rare wood tops. Like it starts with walnut or cocobolo, bubinga, maracasa, and so on and so on. And the last is the aged finish, which is since 15 years very, very popular. So aged finish means the base looks like in between 10 or 30 years old, sometimes unrepairable old. And this one, for example, is a hardcore aged finish. So it starts with a soft aged. Soft aged looks like approx 10 years old bass or instrument, also guitar, which is intensive, very intensive, cleaned and polished. We have slightly tiny scratches, but no, not this big scratches like this. This is hardcore. The next step is hardcore reserve. So that means also the backside of the neck is heavily aged, also the fingerboard, and the wood gets a thermo treatment. That means before we glue everything together, the parts come in a big oven, this size, very big oven. Looks like a professional pizza oven, And we put the wood into this oven for approx 12 hours with 120 degrees. And after this treatment, the cell structure is changing a bit, and the result is the bass sounds older. Don't ask me why, I'm not a physical expert, but definitely the bass sounds older because of this treatment. Sometimes we also put a pizza inside, of course. And sometimes we have a limited edition, the bass, pizza calzone.
Yes, the thermal treatment was a cooperation with a technical university in Germany. So we have analytics, and they set up the oven for us. It's computer automated. So.
Computer controlled, yeah.
So we don't know what happened into the bass, but the university does.
Yeah. So this is a hardcore reserve finish. And the last step is hardcore masterpiece. And masterpiece means we have only one guy in our workshop, his name is Chris, and he's doing the masterpiece stuff. And this bass looks really heavy, unrepairable, aged, treated for 30 years on stage. And this bass also have a thermal treatment, of course, and on top a vibration treatment. For the vibration treatment, we have a big wooden plate. There are springs underneath, or something like springs or gummy or whatever. And this plate is run by a power amp, 1000 watt amp. And I played a loop. It is this loop is for 7 minutes, and I played some slap style, finger style, some chords, and so on. And this loop is running for 100 hours through this power amp to the wooden plate. And the plate is vibrating heavily. And we fix the basses, the hardcore masterpiece basses on this plate. It means the bass is completely vibrating for 100 hours. And also this treatment is changing this cell structure. And the result is, after this treatment, the bass has more sustain and more attack. Don't ask me why, but it is like it is. And we made the technical...
We also had analytics from another technical university. It was a cooperation as well.
So they checked the attack and sustain before the treatment and after. They found out, you can see analytics, diagrams, more attack, more sustain. Sometimes we also sit on the vibration treatment, and I have more, of course. Attack. He got more sustain, yeah.
When I was starting, I didn't see that vibration system. I just was hearing the first week somebody playing always the same lick, and I was asking who's the guy checking the basses with all the lick the whole week, but there wasn't a testing chamber.
Yeah, by now this vibrating plate is running the whole day, the whole night, every day, 300. How many days is a year? 365?
Sometimes, yes.
Sometimes, yeah, right. So
Depends
running
on the year.
always, and you can hear this loop. It's a wooden. It's not a speaker. It's a wooden plate, but you can hear what I play, and also people, the employees who are working around. There's the close to this vibration treatment is our fret section, and these guys hear it every day. You know, I'm sure they can sing every single.
Everybody in the company can sing that lick or whistle or whatever.
And sometimes when I come into the assembling room, checking the bass and play the same lick, stop! I hear it every day. Play something else, but not this. Yeah. Mm. Yeah. So that means, all in all, now we go further. I just explained the 4 different finishes. Next step is you can select in between 6 or 7 fretboards. It's rosewood. Pau Ferro, ebony, maple, bird's eye maple, and
Fumed oak.
huh?
Fumed oak.
Fumed oak. Yeah, fumed. So 6 different woods for the fretboard. 4 or 5 string, 4 string 34 scale, 4 string 35 scale, 5 string 34 scale, 35 scale, and fretless or fretted, block and lace, blank, dots. Abalone
Custom
dots.
inlays. Sometimes.
Yeah, but not in the configurator. Not in the configurator. I explain everything you can choose in the configurator right now. So you have black dots or white dots and black block inlays, white block inlays. As I said, fretted or fretless. For fretless, you can choose a blank fingerboard or sidelines or full lines. Full lines and sidelines are made from maple. Snow plastic is maple inlaid. In the slots where normally you put in the frets. The next step, then you can choose matched head or not. For example, matched head, the same color like the body. Next step is hardware. You can select in between 7 different pickguards, like everybody knows. I think I don't need to explain. It's black, white, parchment, tortoise, and white pearl, and so on. And then 3 different hardware colors like chrome, black, and gold. So all in all, and everything also in the left-hand version. So if you go to our configurator, buy a pizza first, a good bottle of wine, and take your time. Yeah. So and he counted everything. It's around.
I didn't count it. I calculated it roundabout.
You said you counted.
It's just 7 times 12 times 12 times 20 and so on.
Yeah.
Then you come about. a
But you said
million
for weeks, you sat
configuration.
on your desk, was counting like 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yes, but you didn't want to pay me for that.
Okay, yeah, right. So and this is fantastic because you can select your own bass. And finally, when you found your collection, then you can save it. You have a picture, and you can send a kind of configuration code to Pitbull, and Brain give you a price and delivery time. Sometimes our delivery time is short, and sometimes it's long. Depends on how many orders we get. Last year we had delivery time. It was incredible, 8 months sometimes.
Yes, sometimes.
Yeah, but by now we have 3 or 4 months delivery time, waiting time, you know.
For customized instruments. So
Yeah. Yeah, these are all possibilities. And I can say I have the best job in the world because building guitars and bass guitars is a fantastic job. You know, you all guys must be jealous about me because I have the best job in the world. You know, and we always since 33 years we do experiments with materials. Pickups, we have our own pickup winding machine for making prototypes, you know, and construction-wise, and always trying to find something new, inspiration, or new things, new colors, new materials, and so on. And I think the most important thing is to find or to create a balance of the 2 most important things, which is sustain and attack. So I remember as we started in the 80s, everybody was looking for sustain. Oh, I need a bass, sustain, sustain, sustain. Nobody was taking care for attack. But it changed after a couple of years. And I think sustain is not all. Sustain describes how long a tone is vibrating, is swinging. But there's no slow ballad in the world where you need a tone for 3 minutes, you know. It's absolutely not necessary. And the character of an instrument or the harmonics, how when they come or when they go, when they add the main tone and everything, this is more the character, which I describe with attack. And I get a lot of requests by email. Which is the best wood for a long sustain, or I'm a slap player. I need a more dynamic instrument, more temperament. Which wood should I use? And it's very simple to explain. It's a physically thing. So if you have a hard and heavy material, the material can't absorb the energy of the string, because it's too hard and heavy. So for example, if you have a big stone, you put on the string, you push the string will vibrate, 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 and you can go shopping, yeah, do what you want, and then you come back after hours and the string is also vibrating, because the stone can't absorb the energy. When you have a very soft material and light material, the tone is much shorter, because the material is absorbing the energy of this tiny little rope, you know. But the big stone don't offer an attack. It can't offer attack. But the soft material offers amazing attack. And finding the right balance, this is the goal, and this is a very interesting point. When I show you the diagram, when this is the loudness and this is the time, and you have for example, a grand piano, yeah, you push the key on a low B or whatever, so the tone goes up, the loudness goes up, and stays here and goes, don't goes down, it stays, and I could climb here, going over in the warehouse for 20 meters, it stays like that. For my taste, for a bass player, this is boring. Yeah? Then I could play a piano, not a bass. And if you have a bass made from very light material or softer material, like maple fretboard, which is softer than ebony, of course, and maybe a body made from alder, which is softer than mahogany or cocobolo or macassa or ebony, and you push the tone, loudness goes up, but after 2 or 3 milliseconds, it goes down just a bit. And then the harmonics come through, and the tone is changing always. And this little 2 or 3 milliseconds of time, you know, when you push a tone, loudness goes up, this very short time, this gives the character of an instrument. And you can believe me, when you cut the first 2 or 3 or 4 milliseconds of a piano, of a grand piano, of a flute, and maybe a harp or another instrument, you can't judge if it is a guitar or a flute or whatever. When you cut the first 2 or 3 milliseconds, the character, then you can't judge what kind of instrument it is. And this is very interesting, I think, you know. You can't judge if it is a flute or a guitar. It's a little bit disappointing, but we are not a flute player, we are guitar players. Yeah, and yeah, that's what it is. For example, 2 months ago, we had lots of experiments with a new wood for the body, because I get a lot of emails. People ask, how light is your bass? Okay, do you have a lightweight version? And I have problems with my back, and you know, can you make a very light bass? And I thought, yeah, okay, we have an option. It's called chambered, but it's very expensive because it's not easy to make a chambered body, and a lot of work and CNC routing machines and making holes in the body. And I thought, if we find a wood, which is very light, we don't need to chamber, you know. It would be, was heißt günstiger,
More reasonable,
more reasonable,
affordable.
you know. And then we had, since 20 years, I have a bowl of cedar in my workshop. And I thought, we never made experiments with cedar. And then we made a cedar body, put on a, not a Canadian hard rock maple, which we use normally for the necks. We took Norwegian maple. It's a little bit lighter. It's softer, but it's no problem because the truss rod inside is so strong. It's no problem to use a lighter maple. So we combined cedar body, Norwegian maple, and Norwegian fretboard. And I only can speak about my taste, you know. For my taste, this bass is fantastic. It's 3 kilo, which is nothing. It feels like an instrument filled with helium or something. Yeah, oh, 3 kilo. 3 liters of milk is 3 kilos. Yeah? And the sound is amazing. So it offers a huge attack. So it's fantastic for players who play with the stylus with lots of dynamic or slap sound, because every tone is kind of exploding, you know, it's coming up and then a little bit down. Of course, the sustain is a little bit shorter, but for my taste, there's no ballad in the world where you need a tone for 3 minutes. Yeah. So, and I think last week we put this option in our configurator. It's called SL for Superlight. So we have 2 different models. It's a California TT and California TM. It's exactly this bass, and with another one with 2 Jasper style pickups. Superlight version. Especially for the Superlight version, also the control plate and the knobs are made from aluminum. Because for this, for the control plate and for the knobs, we don't need brass. For the bridge, it's very, very important to use brass or hard material, but not for the knob. You know, it doesn't matter if it is. You can't feel if a knob is made from brass or aluminum or something else. Mm-hmm. Yeah, but to have a good sustain in the instrument, we decided to make a large neck pocket. This is very, very important. So the Sandberg neck pocket is much larger than normal. You can see it, you know. Let me say, I don't want to give you a name of a brand, but the normal neck pocket is like this size, and this one. And normally you have 3 or 4 screws, and we have 6 strong screws and a large neck pocket, and the neck is very tight and straight into the body, so you can't move. You can't move it. Yeah? And this is very important, for the vibration comes from the neck, goes to the body. And yeah, the bridge offers a good sustain, and also this area is very, very important, where the neck comes to the headstock. Reinforced nennt man das, ne? Wenn das ein bisschen verstärkt ist. Ne? This area is a little bit more reinforced than normal, because this is a tiny area. Because here is a hole for the truss rod, and there's not enough, not so much wood in this area. So it's necessary to have a reinforced area. It means if it is reinforced, the headstock can't vibrate so much and can't absorb so much energy. Yeah. Yeah?
Yep.
Do you have a
This
question?
was to balance the opposite side of attack, because he loves attack a lot, but not only attack is needed for bass,
Yeah.
especially sustain as well. That's it.
Yeah, as I said,
what you wanted to
to
explain.
find the right balance of attack and sustain is very important.
Why do the basses have 0 frets?
Why do the basses have zero frets? It's a good question. So in the time as I decided to make a zero fret, every music shop in Germany called me and said, "Are you an idiot? You know, it looks so cheap, and don't do that. And we never will buy your basses." And I said, "Egal." Egal means something like
I don't care.
I don't care.
I don't care. Zero fret is there are two things why zero fret. First, the material is the same like the other frets, so the sound-wise, it's the same. It's not a piece of plastic because it would sound a little bit different. And the second, it's so stable. Plastic, when you move a string is vibrating in the plastic slot, and the string would loosen always a little bit of the plastic. It comes down, or can break easily, but not with a zero fret. And I think we never had a repair that you had to change zero fret because the slot was vibrating
It
down.
never gets worn. So
So behind the zero fret, you find it's a mix of carbon and plastic, the saddle, but it only fixes the string to the sides, you know.
just
but
for the
not-
spacing.
Yeah, just for the spacing. Yeah, I think it was a good decision, but because we solve a problem and it sounds much better.
Yes, and the open string has the same brightness as the grabbed one. So.
Yeah. Was a good question. Thank you.
No worries. I got another one. Talk about the preamp.
Yeah. Okay. So we have instruments, passive instrument and active instruments, and all active instruments have a 2-band or a 3-band EQ. 2-band means we have a bass and a treble, and 3-band, of course, bass, mid, and treble. Yeah, and all active basses have a push-pull function in the volume for active passive. That means when you forget to change a battery short before the gig starts, you switch into the passive mode and you don't get fired from the band leader, you know. And you can play, and you easily can remove the battery. You don't need a screwdriver. You only need your thumbnail. It's very easy to put it in. And all knobs except the volume have a center click. It means in the middle there's a center click. This is neutral position, and it's real neutral. So bass, neutral position, treble. The third knob on this bass is you say blend. As we say balance, but brain said blend. Yeah. So to choose the pickups. And one master volume. I think one master volume is more practical because you can choose a loudness. Most of us play full because we have paid a lot of money for the bass. Why should I play with only 8? Always 10, of course, yeah. But when you go from bridge pickup to Bose pickups and to single neck pickup, you always have the same loudness. You don't need to handle 2 volumes. It's sometimes a little bit irritating, or you lose power, loudness. Yeah, that's why I decided to make one master volume and the blend potty. Yeah, and the bridge has a single saddle, and every saddle has some screws, 3 screws for the height, 1 for spacing, and 1 little screw behind is to fix the saddle. And this is very important because nothing can vibrate, nothing can absorb energy, you know. And when you lose the strings, nothing can fall off. Dark stage, and you have to look for, where's the string saddle? You know, this is because we love to work close together with musicians, and most of our endorsees, we have a good relationship, and we learned a lot, and we speak a lot with them. What do you think is necessary? What do you like? What you don't like? And this is absolutely necessary to work with professional musicians who play every day. You know, we changed so much things within the last 30 years because we had good ideas from the musicians. For example, 10 or 15 years ago, we changed to another jack, and this jack is very, very strong. Before that, we had this tiny little cylinder jacks, stereo jacks, and we did a lot of repairs because they're not stable enough. And we changed a lot of things because
So every complaining customer helped as well.
yeah.
Yes, that's good, definitely.
And it's always very interesting to work with professional musicians. Sometimes we have them for a couple of days in our workshop. For example, Ida Nielsen, Ida Nielsen used to be the Prince bass player for 13 or 15 years. And she was in our workshop 2 years ago. And we designed or created a signature model for her. And it was so interesting for us, you know, because we learned a lot. And always when we design or create a new instrument, first we take a tester bass. We call it tester bass. And I brought it to show you. This is the tester bass. Tester bass because it has a big hole in the middle. And you can put in every pickup or pickup combination, and you can move the pickups to find the right spot, you know. And it's interesting when you move a pickup, you get a different sound. When you come close to the bridge, it becomes more growly. When you go very close to the neck, the end of the neck, it's a full reggae bass sound, you know. And I would say 50% of the sound of a pickup comes from position and 50% of the pickup itself. If it is a precision or a jazz bass or Music Man style pickup. But 50% is a position. We have a lot of customers who say, I love this bass, this one, because it has a Music Man style pickup and I love the Music Man sound. But this pickup definitely don't offer the Music Man sound because it's much closer to the bridge. Music Man is more like this, it's more far. I think it's approx 7 centimeters far from the bridge, and this is only 3, you know? It's a totally different sound. If you like, after the clinic, you can check and judge the difference. So as Ida was in the workshop, we spent more than 2 days to find the right pickups, and after that, the right position. And because we have a rehearsal room in our basement, we went down into the rehearsal room, and she was playing for 1.5 or nearly 2 days. My colleague, Daniel, he's a drummer, he was playing drums, because this is very important. When you want to judge a bass, you definitely must play together with drums. When you play alone on an amp, every instrument sounds good, more or less, you know. But you can't judge the sound. You need a drummer, or better, a drum and a guitar to judge if the frequency matches the bass drum or the snare drum. What happened with the brightness if a guitar player comes, or we hear the cymbals, and finding the right treble, and this is very important. So we sat between 1 and 2 days in the rehearsal room, and Ida was checking and checking and checking, and then as she found the right spot, we came up, and she was sitting in our assembling room, where 6 people are working in our assembling room. If everybody is there, sometimes they're not there. Normally they are there, and then we have 6 people. And it's always loud, because radio is on, and everything is speaking, blah, 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 you know, while assembling. And then everybody's using echo drills, which is loud. For every screw, of course, they use an echo drill. And as Ida came and was sitting on an amp, and was checking her pickup configuration, it was so quiet in this room. Nobody was speaking, radio was off, nobody uses this echo drill. Everybody was using the hand, Schraubenzieher, I don't know, by hand, drilled the screws by hand. Because she was playing so fantastic. You know, she's so fantastic player. And everybody was smiling, was so happy, assembling an instrument. Ida was sitting there playing, and everybody was enjoying her, you know. And this, you can't imagine what kind of feeling it is when, as a bass builder, as a bass luthier, when there's someone who's playing fantastic guitar or bass. You hear your own instrument, what you assemble, what you build, from another person who's playing beautiful, perfect. And this time was fantastic, you know. For me, I don't know if it was for you.
I think I wasn't there that time.
You've been ill or vacation? No, you was in the office. Yeah. This 4 or 5 days together with Isa was very, very interesting for us, and the other side, fantastic. So Ida has a signature bass called California Ida Nielsen bass, and it's a black bass with this pickup combination, but different pickups. And she has a detuner and bird's eye maple fingerboard, and very, very special. She has glowing in the dark side dots, and a very interesting pickguard material. It's kind of Asian silk underneath a plexi, and looks great. Huh?
She set up an instrument which got also Prince bling bling for a style, and which is very practical for her with the luminous side dots and the detuner.
Mm. So she decided finally for an alder body, which is a light and soft wood, maple fingerboard and maple neck. So because she's a funk player, you know, she's slapping a lot, and she needs dynamic and attack. And this bass, she decided for, we call them black label pickups. So this is also a black label pickup. It has two metal bars, and underneath is a magnet. So it's a ceramic pickup. So it looks traditional. It sounds a bit. It's a good mix. Sound-wise, it's a mix of traditional sound, but more power, more bottom. You know, it's more a kick in the ass. She plays.
Now those are active type pickups then?
Pardon?
Are they active or passive?
All pickups we use are passive,
Okay.
because you can easily play in the passive mode. Otherwise, it wouldn't work, you know. So every pickup you can use also in a passive bass. You don't need a battery like EMG. You know, all pickups are passive. In the beginning, we had a lot of experiments with medium power, medium ohm, niederohmig. I don't know the English word. Active pickups, because they offer more brightness. And in the middle of the 80s, everybody was looking for hi-fi sounds.
Exactly.
20 knobs on a bass, 30 pieces of wood in the neck and also in the body. And yeah, it was, of course, a very interesting time. Alembic, for example, was my hero, you know, alembic basses and all the other neck-through basses. But by now we use a passive pickups, so high-winded pickups. Mm. And you know, I can tell you, it's very interesting how my own taste is changing during this time. So as I started in the middle of the 80s, I was very much into this hi-fi instruments, you know. I remember we had, every 2 months we had a complete different electronic, because my partner, Gerd, he was developing the whole day stuff like, this is Q, the bit is a little bit more tight or wide, or frequency here or there. And then we had an active exciter. So we had bass, mid, treble, and an exciter. Exciter means you add some artificial high frequencies, you know. But you only can hear this exciter high frequencies when the strings are brand new, and when you don't play together with a drummer, because the drummer plays a hi-hat or the cymbal, you hear nothing.
So I wonder how's the process of jotting down the notes when you're actually moving the pickups, like to know where exactly that you wanted it, like at one point, and then you maybe change your mind over here. How did you guys jot that down? Is there someone just going in there noting, measuring?
Yeah, you have to find it out, you know. You have to play, move a little bit, and then
You can move it while you're playing.
yeah,
So-
you can
and then
because
you move it a bit.
the pickups are fixed on a wooden plate. And there's a magnet, and here two metal bars. So it's held by a magnet, and then you can play. Mhm.
There's no science behind. You just try it out, and in the end, it's just luck if you
Then you
find
have
the
to
sweet spot
measure.
or not.
Ortho, like,
Have you released a model that lets you like that? Have you ever released a model like that? That's,
To move with movable pickups,
yeah.
we just think about. Because I got a lot of requests. Why don't you make a serial model with movable pickups? Yeah, we start thinking about since 2 days. Yeah, you know, we've been in Chicago last week, in Chicago, another music shop, and there are a lot of people who ask, why don't you make a serial bass with movable pickups? Like the Gibson Grabber has a movable pickup. It makes sense.
But you need a system which works for longer than a year,
Yeah.
and not falling off pickups.
Yeah.
So-
There must be a very tight mechanic to move pickups. Yeah. And I remember this is Rammstein. It was a Mother tour, the tour called Mother, more than 10 years ago. And you know, Oliver Riedl, the bass player of Rammstein, is also one of our endorsers. He's very nice and sympathetic and so polite guy. And it was short before the tour starts, 2 weeks before the tour. I got a call. It was late evening. Oliver was on the phone. And Oliver was always so nice and polite. And he said, Holger, sorry, I don't want to disturb you, but I have an idea. But don't say I'm an idiot. I don't want to disturb you. Is it possible to make a bass with a glass body with lights inside? Because it would fit perfect to all this choreography and stuff we have on stage. And I've never worked with acrylic material before. So, but I was begeistert. Was heißt begeistert? Weiß ich nicht.
Happy.
I was like, yeah, something like happy. Oh yeah, it's a good idea. But you know, if you know you only have 2 weeks time, you get a little bit stressed. So I bought
It's a challenge.
acrylic plate, and then I was very happy because you can very easy work with acrylic. You can file it very good, drill, and everything runs very good. So we made a body from acrylic, and then we've put LEDs underneath the neck pocket, underneath the pickups, underneath the bridge. So you couldn't see, or you can't see where the light comes from. And this looks amazing. Huh? So you had a greenish glass body. The light is coming out, but you don't see from where it comes from. And it fits perfect to the Mother tour, you know, because they had green, kind of aquarium, big aquarium, green lighting aquarium on stage. I think a big brain was swimming in a big brain was swimming in the aquarium, and Ollie was playing the green bass lighting. Yeah, but the problem was the bass was so heavy, because acrylic, you can imagine, is very heavy material. A body made from wood is normally in between 38 or 40 millimeters thick, so 4 centimeters approx. And we did the same with the acrylic body. So finally, this bass was close to 6 kilo. And Oliver is a large, tall guy, you know, he's 2.5 or something like a baseball player. So, you know, I can imagine he had a lot of pain. Yeah. And then after the tour, he gave it back, and we made kind of hollows from the backside to make it lighter. And then we built basses with red LEDs inside or white LEDs. I remember once we made a bass with acrylic, and we made a treatment to the varnish that it looks like an ice block. And then white LEDs inside, and it looked totally like an ice block. You know, you don't want to touch it because, it must be so cold. Or yeah, sometimes basses where you could change the color from red to blue or yellow. This is cool, you know. For live, I think it's not a question of sound. It's a question of kind of the choreography and how it looks live, you know. The sound is okay, yeah. You know? Because the material is so hard, you have a lot of sustain, and it's easy to handle, you know. The sound is very easy to handle, it looks great. Sometimes we build basses with 2 strings. There's a Danish band called DAD, which sounds very close to AC/DC. And the bass player is left-hand, and he always played 2-string basses. So he has a racket, Rakete, was heißt das?
Rocket.
A rocket, and a big rocket where you can't see the strings. He put his hand inside, and here's a rocket. So, or the next bass is an olive, like a cocktail olive.
And the neck is the toothpick, and you see
Yeah,
the
yeah,
paprika from behind.
And you also have an acrylic bass, of course, and then another bass is very, very funny and interesting. So he's a left-hand player, and here's a bass where the body is a big headstock, and the headstock is a body, and it looks so confusing because you know it's left-hand, and then you see the body here and the headstock, and then, I smoked too much. I think I smoked too much. Yeah.
You should
Yeah,
check
no,
them,
this,
check
and
them
this
out.
makes this job so interesting when you get requests for some crazy stuff. Can you build this? Can you make this or this or this? Or an axe? We have made an axe with some blood, and the player, the bass player, was playing in a jazz band, and this is so great. You know, it's not a heavy death metal or whatever, blood on an axe. No, it's a jazz band and smoking. Blood is coming. You know. Once we built a bass with a mini fogger. It was also for an experiment for Rammstein. So there was a mini switch, and you could activate the fogger, and then fog came out of the bass. Amazing, with LEDs behind, of course. You know, so it was illuminated and
Now those would be battery powered, right?
yes. And the problem is it's an engine, an electric engine, and it gave a lot of humming into the pickup. Wow, it was loud.
Exactly, all that
It-
extra electronic noise.
yeah,
all the
it was
electricity.
very, very loud. And
It didn't work for stage, unfortunately. But we have it on the wall in the assembly. It looks quite well. So it looks like a starship meets a base.
So and, this, for example, we will display at the NEM in 2 days. It's called the patchwork finish, and the idea came some years ago. There was a music fair in Germany, in Frankfurt, and I wanted to show the customer that they have a lot of possibilities to choose. You know, aged finish, rare wood, or matte finish, and different fretboard wood and so on and so on.
what we now have
So
is
now-
a configurator.
And then I asked our designer if he can make a poster in Photoshop, and he made a photo with this kind of base, and it was, yeah, in real size, so 1:1, and yeah, it was an eye-catching poster, you know, this kind of patchwork base, and a lot of people asked, "Oh, can you build this in real?" And we said, "No, it's too complicated. We can't. It's just a poster, you know, made in Photoshop." But over the year, we got a lot of requests about, "Can you build it in real?" And then we decided, okay, we try one. We try to build one. We made one, and the next year we displayed a real bass at the fair, not a poster made by Photoshop, a real bass. And then we posted this picture on Facebook and everywhere on Instagram, and people said, "No, it's not real. It's a fake. It's Photoshop again." You know? No, this one is real. And then we made a video where I moved it. Here you can see it's real. I'm alive. This is I'm not Photoshop, and this is also not Photoshop. Yeah, and you know, it's not a butter and bread instrument or finish, but we sell a lot of this, and it's, yeah, you can choose every part. The body is always 4 parts, different pickups, and you can choose nearly everything. We have a customer in a distribution partner in Korea, and he orders 10 of these bases per year. Sometimes with gold-plated finish or silver, sterling silver, and all crazy.
Every base unique.
Yeah.
Then you don't have to pick just one thing. You get opportunity.
Exactly.
I like this and that. Okay, have them both, why not?
Yeah.
That's the first thing I saw when I sat down, was looking at that thing.
Don't ask me about the sound. You must try by yourself because I can't explain the words. But it sounds good. You know? For example, this is alder. This is European ash. European ash is a very, very hard wood, much harder than swamp ash. You know, in America, you only I think you only have swamp ash. It's fantastic wood, swamp ash, but European ash is a little bit harder. So swamp ash offers a bit more attack because it's lighter, and European ash is for people who playing very fast, deep stuff and need a very, very fast tone and transparent. For this style of music, European ash is very good choice. This is alder again, and here we have mahogany and zebrano, Pau Ferro, maple, ebony, and maple again. Yeah, patchwork finish. Yeah, different color in the hardware, of course. Yeah. Jetzt weiß ich gerade nicht mehr weiter, Mike. Das musst du mal. Was kann man denn noch erzählen?
Any questions? Not only about the colors, maybe the physics or whatever.
You know, it's always interesting. Every day is interesting to come to the workshop and see what happened. And our production manager, his name is Daniel. He's very good into programming stuff. I can tell a bit about the production, if you like. So I think why we can offer instruments to a reliable price is because we have a good, clever production. It means the main steps for body and neck are made by CNC. It's called routing machines, right, Thomas? Not routing, it's routing. Sorry, not routing, it's routing. So we have CNC routing machines. So one for the body and one for the neck. And they are very precise. It's 0.01 millimeter precise. This is very good because it's always the same quality. That means that always the neck is very tight into the neck pocket, which is necessary. If you do everything by hand, it could be Monday morning, Sunday you had some drinks, and then you have a headache, and then you go to the machine. Oh, it's a little bit smaller, but okay. You know, a lot of things can happen if you do everything by hand. So we are very happy that this CNC processing machines are doing the main work, like the body shape, all the holes for neck and pickup. The other machine is doing the outer line of the neck and a pre-shape for the neck shape. But the final shape is done by hand because it can't be done by a CNC machine, because especially this area is so complicated to sand and to form. You know? So the main, the important steps are done by hand. So the complete sanding of a body, which needs more than 1.5 hours per body, because it's not so easy. You know, the body is pre-shaped by a CNC processing machine, but to make everything round, there shouldn't be an edge. Everything should be round and soft and good, like the body belly shape and an arm shaping. This must be done by hand. It's not possible to do it by a machine. The same with the shape of the neck. And I think over the years we found a very good combine of both handcrafted. Do you say handcrafted or handwork? Yeah, and CNC processing. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and
The fretwork is done by plaque machine.
yeah,
You
right.
know the plaque machine.
Black machine looks like a telephone cell, like a big old English telephone box. It's not red like the English one, it's kind of silver, but the price is more than the double, because there's only one company who developed and is building this kind of machine called Plaque. And this company It's crazy, crazy guys, and 10 or 12 people in Berlin, in the middle of Germany. It's the only company, and they are working on this kind of machine and on all solutions and everything for more than 20 years. And this is a fantastic machine. So you open the door like a telephone cell, you put in a base or a single neck, you also can put it in a single neck, and then comes a kind of metal finger and is checking the height of every neck, of every fret. So underneath the string, so it goes down under the G string, comes up on the D string, on the A string, on the E string, if you have a 5 string or 6 string, on every string, And then it's doing the measurement in the height on every fret. And then after this job, you get a diagram. And it could be that the machine says, please give a little bit more pressure to the truss rod because it's a little bit too bent. And then you have to open the door, move a little bit clockwise the truss rod, close the door, the machine is checking again. And when the machine says, now it's okay, then it starts leveling the frets. And the good thing, so we developed one thing or one step together with this company from Pleck. The thing is, a 4-string bass has approx 80 kilo tension. Is it tension or pressure? So the neck becomes 80 kilo. And you can imagine this tiny little piece of wood get 80 kilo. It would be like if you have 200 kilo on your head and you would move a little bit, of course. And the same with the neck. The neck is moving just a little bit. You can't see it, but it's moving a little bit because they're 80 kilo. And when we put a neck into the fret machine, we have a rope outside. It goes here, it goes back and here, and we give pressure to the rope. We imitate the 80 kilo. So then when the Pleck machine is checking the height, the neck is under pressure, under realistic situation. And this is, you can't do by hand when you do it, the fret leveling by hand. And this is a fantastic thing with the Pleck machine. And the result is that you can bring the strings much closer to the fretboard than with a normal fretwork. And another thing, every instrument has a serial number. And when we put a neck into the Pleck machine, we save the serial number. And after years, we can see the instrument with the serial number 32125 has a diagram like this and this and this. And you as a customer, you've bought this bass, and after 10 years, you want to refret it. In the same way like it was new. It's very easy for us. We can check, the diagram says it had a little bit fall off here, and the radius was like that, We can do exactly the same. This is fantastic. And it's always the same quality, And another thing is, you can imagine when you level frets by hand, a fret is round. And leveling by hand means you have a piece of whatever, wood or metal, you stick some sandpaper underneath, and then you level like this. And you bring the fret a little bit, you abtragen, you put it down, and the fret becomes a flat top. It's not round anymore. So that means the sound is a little bit different, because as wider the fret is, as more kind of wrestling you get. And the Pleck machine, it has a round shaped router, and it's always, the fret is always round. Yeah, if it's leveling a lot, doesn't matter. It's always round. It's the same shape. And this is fantastico machine. But the price is $100,000 for this little telephone cell. It's a hard decision. Should I buy this machine? $100,000. I could buy a Porsche faster.
It was worse. It's worth that price, definitely.
So and all. That's why I say we have a very let me say, clever production in all steps. Yeah. Do you have?
You guys want to give away a bass?
How do you want to do it? Come on stage, Braden. I don't know how you want to proceed it.
Yeah.
So always when I come over to National City, we have a present for you.
Yeah.
No,
here we
sorry,
go.
not
So
always.
first of all, thank you guys for coming. Thank you guys for coming out for this. Thanks, Mike. Thanks, Holger. You know, we here at the store, you know, we really have our pick of the litter, and pretty much instantly, as soon as Sandberg basses started coming in, you can pretty much speak for everybody to say that they became one of our immediate favorites that we carry in the entire store. I'm a bass player myself, and can honestly say my main player is a Sandberg VM5. I have several basses. That's the one that I take out to gigs, and it's the one that I play the most. So hopefully you guys were able to get a little something out of this, and one of you is definitely going to
This
get
one.
a whole lot of something out of this right now, as we give away this Basic 5, which is really probably the coolest giveaway we've ever done at a
Yeah, I can imagine.
so yeah, this is gonna be really cool. I'm gonna shake this right on up, and then we're gonna let you pick.
What's inside?
What's inside? Yeah. Careful, it bites.
Can I also win this place? Can I win?
I wish I could win. We're all everybody
Yeah,
that
Mike,
works here. We're like, how
it's-
can we
it's your
figure out? But don't worry, we're not entered into this.
We need.
Pick
Da,
that,
da, da,
and then
da.
let's read- Let's see. So it's.
Oh, it's a number,
Yeah, we
which
can
is
just read
important.
the end. Who's got the ticket that ends in 1189?
Yes!
My man.
Hey!
Come on
Fantastico!
up.
Hey,
Congratulations.
And just take a look. That's it. You got it. And we got it. Comes with the whole case. It's got the box.
And you are a bass
But-
player. You are a bass player.
Yes, I am.
Not
There's
flute
your
player.
baby. There you go.
Perfect. Perfect.
That is beautiful.
And certainly, you know, I was thinking if you guys want to stick around and actually get hands on any of this stuff, we can certainly do a little bit of
Is
that.
it
real
three-band
quick,
EQ?
Kind of see what the bass is all
Bass,
about.
mid, and
then
treble,
again, you decide you
and
want to set
volume.
one up for yourself, myself, any of the guys here. Put
And
the
active
audio,
passive, of
whether it's a custom instrument, whether it's something we already have.
Congratulations.
I've been caught before with my battery gone dead
and
the bass
bass
is
that
dead. It's like,
process. We've got you covered.
that is just the most
Thank you
clever
guys
thing.
once again.
You guys gonna be at NAMM?
Thanks for coming.
Yeah.
Where's your booth?
Hall D,
Okay.
2846.
Okay.
28.
We'll come by.
28.
I'll
Yeah,
definitely
come by. Yeah.
This is so wonderful.
Can I make a photo?